Hi. Oh, excuse me. I've done it again, haven't I? As soon as I start videoing, I get a frog in my throat. Anyway, I finished another from the Booker longlist, the Booker Prize longlist, Enlightenment by Sarah Perry. And I was excited to read this one because I've read hers before. So I was expecting to love it. I was hoping to. I liked it, but it didn't have the wow factor for me. Does that make sense? We've got love, we've got ghosts, we've got faith, we've got astronomy. And we start in 1997. Thomas Hart is 50. He's a journalist in Aldley in Essex. He's also a member of a strict Baptist church, but he's got a double life. When he's in Essex, he's upstanding, revered, respected. When he goes to London, he has affairs and liaisons with other men. So he's got this double life. Another character that we meet right at the beginning is Grace McCauley. And she stole Thomas's heart when he first encountered her at the church as a newborn. Her mother had just died. And there was just something about this little scrap that spoke to him, and he's sort of cared for her in his way. He's been her friend. He's been there for her, like a sort of a favourite uncle, favourite grandfather, that type of figure. Anyway, his editor asks him to write an article about the Halley-Bopp comet. Is that how you pronounce it? The Halley-Bopp comet? I've probably got it wrong. That's passing over at that time. And this sparks Thomas's interest in astronomy. At the same time, he's contacted by James Bower from the museum, telling him that the museum's come into possession of documents that he might be interested in. And they relate to a woman who in 1887 disappeared from Lowland Manor, this abandoned manor house. Disappeared, never discovered. And she's said to haunt the manor. A woman called, I'm going to say this wrong as well, Maria Vaduva. And she was into astronomy and comet chasing. You've got comets. A comet on there. And so you've got all these sort of little strands. You've got the strand of Thomas, you've got the strand of Grace, and then you've got the search for Maria. So finding out more about Maria. So you've got all these little plots. We've also got unrequited love, which is throughout here. And I enjoyed seeing the parallels between Grace and Maria and Thomas. The story leaps from 1997 to 2008, and then it leaps again to 2017. And you see the relationship between Grace and Thomas. You've discovered the search as they're trying to find out more about Maria Vaduva. You find all these different things, and then you've got interspersed with this, you've got Thomas's astronomical discoveries. He writes about physics, he writes about astronomy. And there's also a touch of magical realism because Maria Vaduva, She is a sort of silent spectre. Well, she's not silent. She's a spectre who's always at Thomas's side, sort of pushing him forward. There's a timeless quality almost to this, because Thomas is very, you could almost drop him back into Sarah Perry's Essex Serpent and he'd fit quite well in there. There's a sort of timelessness about him. And similarly, Grace, the character she doesn't seem to belong to any era. There's the physics and the astronomy bits I did find a bit heavy. And yeah, they were interested, but they didn't grab me. I didn't connect either really with Thomas or Grace. I enjoyed their stories. I enjoyed the relationship. I enjoyed the pain that they suffered. But I didn't connect with them. And I'm not quite sure why. I'm not quite sure why this didn't sing to me in the way that I was hoping it would. It's written, you've got beautiful descriptions of the comets, you've got the environment. And then she also, if I can come across one, here we are. You've got Thomas's columns interspersed as well as emails and letters that he sends, letters that they find. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the form of it. I enjoyed the storytelling. I just didn't connect with it, and I always feel sad that I didn't, because I wanted to. But I did enjoy it. I read it in 3 days. So it wasn't a book that I thought, oh, I've got to read this again. I did read it in 3 days, which for me is pretty good. So that's Enlightenment. I enjoyed it, but it didn't wow me. So I'll move on to the next one. I'm now going to be starting Wild Houses by Colin Barrett. So we'll see what that one brings. That's the second one that I picked up from the library. So happy reading. Take care.